On June 5, 2020, the leader of the Keshe Foundation delivered an extensive, multi-hour address. The transcript details a sweeping cosmological and sociological roadmap for the future of humanity. The broadcast is incredibly dense, weaving advanced plasma physics together with international geopolitics. To decode it, we have to map its specific claims systematically. The central thesis relies on a specific interpretation of the COVID-19 pandemic. The virus is framed as a highly functional, engineered catalyst. The Foundation refers to the outcome of this catalyst as the corona dividend. This dividend leverages the intense societal disruption and systemic paralysis seen globally in 2020, turning civil unrest into an opportunity to completely reset the operational rules of human civilization. Our objective is to chart the exact architecture of this proposed reality, from the immediate tactical response to a virus, all the way to interstellar biological integration. We can break the Foundation's vast thesis down into three distinct, interconnected pillars: crisis mechanics, plasma infrastructure, and cosmic sociology. As this diagram illustrates, these pillars operate sequentially. Each one serves to systematically dismantle a different layer of the modern world. According to the framework, global crises operate as mechanical ignition points. They clear the institutional roadblocks that prevent a mathematically precise utopia from taking root. Let's begin by isolating the first branch, crisis mechanics. The Foundation's immediate pandemic response bypasses official state channels entirely. They rely on decentralized global teams operating strictly outside of government control. These volunteer networks track infection rates down to the granular level, identifying specific streets, neighborhoods, and individual households that require aid. The primary tool distributed by these networks is a proprietary technology known as GANs, which stands for gas in a nanosolid state. To rapidly move this technology, the network piggybacks on existing community hubs. In Iran, the framework successfully leverages the architectural and social infrastructure of local mosques to distribute materials directly to the public. Meanwhile, parallel response groups utilize deep indigenous community networks to push the technology across the vast geography of the Amazon basin. This grassroots response triggers an aggressive macroeconomic fallout over the subsequent months. As the pandemic locks down populations and stalls global trade, state treasuries run dry. The sheer economic strain physically removes the capacity of nation-states to finance standing military forces or purchase new weapons. The framework defines this forced demilitarization as the peace dividend. The virus acts as an economic wrecking ball. By collapsing the financial mechanisms that support traditional centralized leadership, populations are forced to rely on a decentralized alternative system for survival. With the traditional power structure disabled, the framework moves into its second pillar, plasma infrastructure. The transcripts lay out an aggressive timeline. Within 3 to 5 years, the Foundation predicts a total technological overhaul of the planet. This requires the total eradication of fossil fuel consumption, the immediate halt of planetary mining, and the end of animal slaughter. All caloric and power needs are to be replaced by manipulable magnetical fields. To achieve this, the system replaces power grids, industrial agriculture, and hospital networks with a single modular device called the Universal Enhancement Unit. Medically, the unit is designed to actively tune to the user's heartbeat, synchronizing its frequencies to repair the biological entity down to the cellular level. Logistically, it acts as a direct sustenance station. It provides the exact energy required for biological life, eliminating the entire concept of agriculture and food supply chains. Finally, the unit functions as a personalized plasma flight system, capable of instantaneous travel without traditional propulsion. The Foundation claims that institutional adoption is already underway, beginning with the development of these flight systems. Specifically, the leader asserts that full design schematics were transferred to leading Iranian institutions, like the University of Tehran, where the first physical prototypes are currently in development. Parallel to this academic research, the framework details a physical staging operation, the installation of 10 functional enhancement units inside a dedicated testing facility. This test center is slated for the open desert of Arizona. The Arizona site is intended to grow into what the transcripts call a city of light. Because the units manufacture their own energy and water, humans will be free to establish permanent urban centers anywhere, entirely untethered from regional utility grids. The Universal Enhancement Unit is mathematically engineered to sever human dependence on geographic resources, effectively dismantling the geographical borders that govern current civilization. This liberation from physical resources triggers the final and most esoteric pillar of the framework, cosmic sociology. Without resource scarcity to drive conflict, hierarchical governance becomes obsolete. The global population transitions to a completely flat organizational structure, managed by a localized universal council. The behavioral rules of this new society are governed by a single foundational axiom that the Foundation calls the mechanics of the soul. This axiom states that every entity in the universe, from a microscopic organism to an ingot of metal to a human being, possesses an active, manipulable energy field. The transcript illustrates this using the common fear of a spider. If a human consciously tunes their internal frequency to align with the spider's field, the threat response vanishes, enabling clear, nonverbal communication. Scale that exact frequency alignment mechanic up, and it becomes the operational basis for interstellar integration and cosmic diplomacy. As humans establish contact with off-world entities, traditional holy books will quickly become geographically and temporally obsolete, as they contain no directives for navigating the vastness of space. Orthodox religion dissolves entirely. In its place, citizens adopt a practice of direct, soul-level manifestation, effectively becoming the creators of their own localized realities. This field alignment carries intense biological implications. The transcript explicitly predicts that human biology will soon transmute entirely. Physical bodies will morph and adapt on demand to satisfy the aesthetic preferences required for interspecies alien marriages. Under this sociological model, societal hierarchies and biological bodies are not fixed truths. They are highly fluid expressions of underlying plasma frequencies, capable of being tuned at will. Looking at the complete architecture of the framework, the underlying logic reveals itself. Crisis mechanics, plasma pods, and alien diplomacy are not disparate ideas. They are mechanically identical applications of the same core technology. Whether engineering a spacecraft, curing a viral infection, or negotiating with a cosmic species, the Foundation argues that the only mechanism required is precise plasma field tuning. However, the realization of this utopia relies on a strict individual mandate. The framework explicitly warns its followers against stealing from one's own soul, a crime committed by remaining stagnant in a low-frequency state. To elevate personal frequency, individuals are ordered to immediately exit abusive interpersonal relationships, reject traditional global hierarchies, and assert total autonomy over their own energy. The plasma utopia is a highly structured, self-contained cosmology. Within it, a devastating global disruption isn't a disaster to be mourned. It is the carefully engineered mechanical prerequisite for mankind's post-scarcity interstellar evolution.